don't say, born to play. Every day don't say. Hello, hello, hello.
Good evening, I'm Lou Goldstein, and we continue our discussion of the Holocaust with Holocaust survivor Fred Heyman now. We'll be talking in this segment of the interview the years 1934 to the end of the war. Fred, I know that we want to talk a little bit first about the election that took place, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the years and the incidents that happened during the war years.
Lou, I go right to 1934, okay? In 1934, in August of 1934, Paul von Hindenburg died of natural causes. It's questionable what the Nazis did, but unless you have two sources of spelling out a fact, I must say it died of natural causes, okay? 2 weeks later, the Nazi Party came forward and had what they called a plebiscite. It's like a referendum on the people, and the plebiscite was the Nazis asked voters, would you want Adolf Hitler as your leader, yes or no? No other candidate.
Right.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Like in all countries that have a dictator as a leader, on a yes or no vote, there are very few no votes. They disappear and that sort of thing, okay?
Right.
But the point I want to make here, very important, is that only 55% of the voting people that could have voted did not go to the polls. That means that Adolf Hitler was approved on a yes vote by 45% of the people. Actually, a minority. It's very important.
Right.
Okay, and the country was jubilant. They were all excited, fireworks and that sort of thing. But 1934 on, nothing else happened other than now Adolf Hitler is the leader. He dissolved all the other political parties, and the Nazi Party was it, and any law passed is what came from Adolf Hitler, okay? Right. So that leads us into 1935. Now I'm going to be 6 years young. And at that age, you have to start school. Okay, I never went to kindergarten. And so my first day in school, I go to public school, and it's a wonderful thing. You spend 2 hours the first day. And the teacher says, this is your school, this is your gym, and that's your schoolyard. There will be no running. You have your lunch out there. You had no cafeteria. So you eat your sandwich out there, your apple, and you walk in groups of 2 and no running. Try that today, okay? And then when it's about a 2-hour session, and then when the teacher is done with the welcome, your parent picks you up. And the exciting part, the first day in school in parts of Europe, Germany, Switzerland, maybe Austria, some teacher invented that they had called a school cone, a school bag. It's a cone, and they come in this size. They come about this big or this big, okay? And that's filled with all kinds of goodies. And kids only want to go to school the first day to get that cone.
Right.
Unfortunately, I only got a small one, but many kids got a big one. But the point I want to make, that the very first day, was only one day in that school, because the law was that when you're 6 years, you must enter public school and register, okay? But the teacher said Jews are not allowed to come to the school, and they must go to a Jewish school. They're not allowed to go to public school. Well, so naturally, when we had a lunch break, kids started bullying me. They didn't know I was Jewish. So the teacher must have done one of these things behind my back. Here's one of them, right? So it started right then and there, and I was bullied, but then I was happy because I didn't have to go back to school. Okay, and that also was done on purpose. On purpose was done one semester later, I was allowed to go to Jewish school. I had a late start, okay?
Right.
Well, then I had friends and that sort of thing. And there's I might as well put this in here in a memory of a dear, dear friend. His name is Rudy Zeidel. He lived nearby me. I met him in school. He was my age. And as we go on and the restrictions for Jews get tougher and tougher, he would come over to our apartment and have wonderful toys. We would play together. So one Sunday, this is now right in the midst of the Holocaust, and after the war has started, one Sunday, Rudy comes over, and we're playing with my electric train. And we run the train tracks between the rooms to the bedroom and back, and then had a good time. And my mother comes in the room and says, Rudy, you have to come home. Your mother said, you have to come home. That's the last time I saw Rudy. So what happened was, as he said goodbye, I did, okay, goodbye, Rudy, I'll see you.
Right.
All right? Never saw him again. And I was very traumatized by that because Rudy knew something I did not know. He probably, the parents already had a letter from the Gestapo, so the JCC community delivered all the arrests, the go to the train type of thing.
Right.
They already had that they had to go to a train station, be transported. And Rudy and his mom and parents died in Auschwitz. So when I give these presentation, I memorialize them. When I'm talking about why I'm doing what I'm doing a lot now is my entire family by the name of Heyman was wiped out.
Right.
Only my father and I and my mother got that name, okay? Had I not survived, there would be no Heyman family. They're all ashes. So that's important to me every time I do a presentation. My father, we all survived. He came to the United States, but
Right.
that's it. All his brothers, my uncles passed away, and my cousins, and all disappeared. So we're now in 1935, and yes, I now go to school in fall in the Jewish school.
Right.
Reform Judaism was formed in Berlin, and at a beautiful synagogue. There was what's the name when you christen your ship or type of thing.
Okay.
It was kind of I
Yeah.
can't think of the word.
It's okay.
Yeah, okay. The Germany had a Kaiser, really a king,
Right.
who came and dedicated that synagogue in 1900.
Okay.
Okay, a beautiful mosaic temple, beautiful mosaic on the inside, had a congregation of about 2,000. Okay, and that's where Reform Judaism was formed.
Okay.
So I started going to school, and in between, when I'm not going to school, every time I had a little money, I would go to a movie.
Okay.
Okay? My parents did not know that. I roller skates. I did all kinds of do things what kids do. In between school days, I would go to the Tier Garden with the Japanese kid, and things like that would happen. But going right on, in Berlin in 1936 were the Olympics. And Olympics, Jews were not allowed to attend, and Jews were not allowed to participate. But it was very interesting, and in those days, cigarette smokers would have cards of function what happened in the Olympics, who was the winner, and we would like baseball cards with Olympic cards, and I would collect those, and then you could put those cards in an album, and if you glue them in, and then you would start trading cards, looking for cards that you still need, that sort of thing.
Sure.
So it kept me busy. I did sneak into 1-hour telenews theaters that just shows the news, okay? But Jews were not allowed to go to the movies, okay? So I did that, but the Olympics are very, very beautiful, very exciting, beautiful decoration. I'll remember that. Now we're coming to something that it's now 1935. The Olympics were in 1936. Now in 1937, just same old stuff, Fred doing his thing, and pretty much a loner. Rudy is still alive. I see him once in a while, and we go to with my mom. Jews were not allowed to go to a lake and go swim.
Right.
But we went to a lake and swam with my mother. Okay. Because we didn't realize what was going on. And nobody's going to catch us, right? So, 1937 is a normal, playful year for me. 1938, this is important, on October 27, 1938, Jewish families that immigrated to Germany from Poland were arrested and practically put in a cattle car, shipped back to Poland. They probably, wait a minute. Oh, I have to back up, okay? Maybe we can edit that out. 1935 were also the Nuremberg laws.
Right.
All right, the Nuremberg laws were racial laws. Jews lost their citizenship. My father and I became stateless, and not my mom. The Nuremberg laws did not accept my mother's conversion to Judaism. As far as the Nuremberg laws were concerned, she was an Aryan. Okay, she was not discriminated against. Okay, my mother. We had a Christmas tree and we had Hanukkah lights. Okay, it was very nice, right? Okay, there's this Jewish families from Poland are being deported and forced. Now there was one family by the name of Greenspan, that were deported. That family had a son named Herschel. Now, what I'm saying, you can Google it, it's all there, okay? Herschel is kind of dissatisfied what's going on in Germany and says to the parent, look, I don't like it here. So the mother says, go, you have an uncle in Paris, go to Paris, and when this is over, you come back or whatever, where your uncle will take care of you. So Herschel takes off. Meanwhile, in 1938, his parents and his sister are transported back to Poland. The sister manages to drop off a postcard telling to Herschel, telling what's happening to his and her parents, and Herschel gets it. He is in Paris. He goes out to the local gun store, buys a handgun, and walks up and down in front of the German embassy or consulate, and an undersecretary comes out and shoots him. Undersecretary his name was Ernst Wom, V-O-M, Wom Rath, and he shoots him. Okay, that was on.
Did he kill him?
That was on November 7th,
Okay.
1938. At midnight, November 7th to November 8th, the Gestapo headquarters in Berlin issues a teletype type of thing to all the officers throughout Germany and Austria to deface Jewish business property. At midnight of November 8th. From November 8th to evening, November 8th to November 9th morning, I come out go to school. I walk down the street at about a mile and a half walk to school, and big, like a Fifth Avenue, beautiful stores, big department store, fine stores, shoe stores, and clothing stores, and jewelry stores. In all places that were of Jewish ownership were defaced with anti-Semitic graffiti and racist graffiti. Jews, get out of here. Well, my parents had no store, so I felt kind of, okay, it's not us, okay. When I come home from school, I don't have to help my parents scraping the graffiti off the storefronts and all that stuff. That's what I'm thinking. I come to school and didn't know what it's all about. We're kind of alarmed. But the principal told the teacher, let's have a school day as normal. Let's not alarm the kids. We were already alarmed, okay, but we got no answers.
Right.
So here's really what transpired. When I came home, I was the bearer of bad news to tell my father what I saw on the streets. Okay, of course he knew.
Right.
I was not aware of that. Okay, and here's what my father said. He says, son, a Jew by the name of Herschel in Paris shot a German national and killed him. And what you saw on the street are German nationals retaliating what the Jew did in Paris. I didn't know what my dad was talking about. Okay, Paris, Eiffel Tower, I want to see it. Right. Not only want to see the Eiffel Tower, you have to take a train there. Now you fly, okay? I love trains. Remember my toy train?
Yep,
I love trains.
Yes.
I went to Penn State and I had to take a train. I was in heaven, okay? I saw the Eiffel Tower later on, but okay, love train. And it's a long train ride because to get there, so all right. German national. I speak German. I can now read German. I don't understand a German national, okay? We lost our citizenship, all right? So all the Aryans that had citizenship, they were the nationals.
Right.
And then I finally asked my dad, Dad, what does retaliation mean? All right, that's me, all right? Then the next day, we lived in an apartment building, and we had Gestapo later on made us move to a top floor, which were the building with the back building for the square.
Okay.
Which where people rent apartments. Okay, I would. From the second landing to the first landing, it was a beautiful mahogany banister, and I would sit on it and slide down, okay, that sort of thing. Well, the next day, I went out of the building and walked to school, and I literally stepped on broken glass on a sidewalk for all the windows that were defaced with graffiti and anti-Semitic remarks. We were smashed in, and I come to school and I smelled something burning. And when I come closer to school, I had to make a left turn walk a quarter of a block in. That's where my school and synagogue was.
Right.
I say fire engine. I knew there was something burning. There's fire, and now I'm excited. Maybe I'll see people putting out the fire. I'm a kid again.
Right.
A cop comes up to me. He says, "Go home, Jews." The Schweinehund means pig's dog. Okay, go home. There'll be no school for you. I didn't know what he was talking about. As I look up, I saw my temple in flames. And
How'd that make you feel?
Huh?
How'd that make you feel when you saw the temple and school in flames?
Hold that question because I'm going to get something to
Because
it.
you're nine years
Next to the
old.
temple was my grade school. Okay, I was in third grade there, and as I looked up and I saw my school burn. Now ask me.
How'd you feel when you saw your
Elated.
school burning? Elated.
Elated. No school.
No school.
No school, right?
Well, you're 9 years old at the time. You're 9 years old. Yeah.
I'm
Right.
9 years old. Yeah.
It's 1938. Yeah.
My schooling stopped on that day.
Okay.
I was in third grade, 9 years young.
Okay. Now let's go forward a little bit. There was heavy bombings, of the city, in the years to
Okay.
come. And I know there was the
Right.
Rosenstrasse incident, and there was a lot of.
Now, the Rosenstrasse comes to, in 1943. All
Right.
What happened? Hitler invaded Poland, and again, I'm rooting with him. We're winning. We're winning. By the way, Hitler won the war until 1945.
Right.
Never admitted it. Berlin was totally bombed out. Okay.
Right. How did you survive the bombings?
The bombing was, they had a beautiful system. They would track planes coming in from England or from wherever the Allies were stationed on, and he would know the route. They would have a little grid form like these bricks on the wall here, and he would go from A1 to A2 or B3. That could actually track the planes, okay? And you would listen to the radio and actually follow with a map on that, would they come to Berlin on this time.
Okay.
So you really don't know where the planes are going, what the target is. And sometimes the Allies would fool you. You would come directly from England into Berlin, and sometimes they come out of Italy into Berlin. It's from the south of Berlin, from the east.
Right.
So you never know which way they're going. So when planes enter the perimeter where you come certain miles sample close to Berlin, you get an advanced warning. It's a long siren tone, steady, okay?
Right.
And when the target's identified, like Berlin, then they have a wailing sound. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. So it's a Saturday morning in 1943. My mom went to a farmer's market. She's an Aryan. You can buy anything she wants. We had food rations there, but vegetables were pretty much free. We ate a lot of sauerkraut and all that stuff.
Right.
And he went to a farmer's market, had to take the subway. My father, under Nuremberg laws, had to do mandatory labor. We're not allowed to ride public transportation, but he had a special permit from the Gestapo to ride public transportation after you walk 3 miles, not from home, okay? So my father is at work on a Saturday, and I'm alone in the apartment, and there's a forewarning, and I'm just staying in the apartment. Now when the wailing sound comes as well, I'm not going to stay in the apartment. And Jews were not allowed to go to public air raid shelter. If you lived in the apartment, the apartment had in a cellar, they made one room kind of comfortable with a couch and seatings, and they would go in there, but Jews were not allowed to socialize with non-Jews, okay? So the building superintendent later on says, Mr. and Mrs. Heyman, you and your family come in here. This is nonsense. You feel safer, okay? But now in this case, I'm going to public air raid shelter. Nobody knows I'm Jewish. I remember three or four guys were standing on the sidewalk smoking. Hey, buddy, you want a cigarette? Says, no, I don't want to give myself away, okay? So no, I'm staying by myself. Also, I'm looking up, and right over there was a blue sky in February in 1943. and my God, they're coming. I said, they're B-1 bombers. The sky is dark. The Allies, the British bombed us every night, sometimes once and twice during the night. You had to get up and take shelter. The United States Air Force only bombed daytime. What they did, they had a Scout plane flying ahead of the squadron, set a parachute with a smoke signal, one here and one there, and then one squadron went flying like this and just drop bombs like a bunch of peas on this piece of paper and go like this.
Okay.
Okay? So they call that carpet bombing. Okay? When I saw the plane, we started running down the stairway, and halfway down the building started shaking, the bombs are falling. Okay? Right after that, the building is hit simultaneously by 3 bombs. The bombs were designed to come to the second story level, then explode, make everything flat. It wouldn't penetrate down. Nobody got injured. But we were totally buried under. All the stairways full of debris and bricks that couldn't get out. That was anticipated by the German government, and before that ever happened, all the buildings that were firewall against firewall, apartment buildings, it's 4 layers of brick between
Right.
2 buildings. Mandated that a small passage you can crawl through, be cut through the 4 bricks and close it with 1 layer you could kick in with a foot. We had to break through several buildings underground before we found a stairway coming up. And the entire street is now, the area was at 10 o'clock in the morning. This is now like, it's dark, and you have flying cinders, burning cinders in the air. Smoke, we're running the subway just to get away from it. One person that was in the shelter, they lived across the street, and that building remained standing. All the windows were blown out. Says, Fred, why don't you come? I never met the person before. I'm worried about my parents. Says, why don't you come up to our apartment and your father will find you. And he did. My father found me about 8 o'clock that night. My mom never found me until Tuesday. This
Wow.
was on a Saturday. The entire sector of Berlin was cordoned off. The asphalt was melting from the heat, from the fire. Fire engines would go in, they catch fire, but got stuck on the asphalt. I lived through that. That was the bombing. Okay.
Okay. Well, we're running out of time
I
for
know.
this section, so
Rosenstock's
gonna-
gonna have to get in.
we're going to talk a little bit about in our next section, and we'll talk about in our next section with Fred the end of the war, how you were nearly arrested by the Gestapo for transport to Auschwitz,
Yeah.
and we'll also talk about how your family emigrated, to the United States from Berlin, in 1946 in our next episode. So until our next episode, thank you for watching. Stay active, stay healthy, stay engaged, and Fred and I will see you for part 3 of our interview soon. So until then, have a good night. I'm Lou Goldstein. Thank you for watching.